Hi, it's Kerry from Mobilates. I hope you're doing well. Right, we've got a theme of sort of sideways movements coming out a little bit today. But as always, I'm keeping it gentle. You've got to go with what works best for you. You can be standing, you can be seated. You can do this from your bed, sit on the edge of your bed, because we're going to do a lying down bit. Always love a lying down bit. And you might not want to get down to the floor. So sitting on the edge of your bed is a really nice way to do that. Always make sure you have a drink with you, especially if we're in the summer months like we are at the moment, end of summer. I hope you've had a good week. We're going to start with another sort of weather moment. I want you to imagine that you're in a breeze. So place your feet a comfortable width apart so you feel nice and steady. Could be resting your hands on something if you wanted to. Could be seated so your feet are wider and you've got your sitting bones, the bumpy bits of your bum down on the chair. I just want you to start to flow from side to side. Now, by far the easiest way to do this is to have your eyes closed, because then you don't worry about what you look like. So I'm going to close my eyes. And you'll just see that my body just relaxes a little bit and it goes where it really wants to go. So I'm going to open them for a second just so I can do the seated version as well. There is no wrong or right. You're just flowing in the breeze like grass or like oaty cereal things that you see in fields, or something like a willow tree just blowing around. So I'm going to get my eyes closed. I've got my legs wider and I can use my feet to push me a little, especially in this seated position. That's nice. And I'm breathing, just keeping the breath going. So you've got the flow in the movement and the flow of the air coming in and out. And then start to open your eyes, slow your movement down, and just take a moment to steady yourself, just in case you feel a bit dizzy or unsteady. Press your feet down, almost like a cat, sort of grinding down to a duvet or a blanket or your knee. And then bring your legs forwards so that you've got parallel feet. I think you can just see my feet there. And if you're seated, your knees are about 2 fists apart. If you're standing, your feet about the same distance. If you turn your foot to the side and then place your toes forwards, that will give you a comfortable distance. Grow tall. Place your hands either to your thighs if you're standing, or to the very, very edge of your knees. I've got my longest fingertip just on the edge of my knees. Right, grow even taller. Imagine you've got a crown on. Keep that crown upright. Breath in and expand all around your ribs. And breath out. Pull your waistband and your belly back. Breath in, come upright, grow tall. I'm going to have a little wiggle. Breath out, pull your belly and your waistband back. I'm going to come up to standing. I'm just going to click the comments on. We had a little technical moment at the beginning. There we are. So I can see Jackie. Hi, Jackie. I can see Irene. Hello, hello. Nice to have you here. So if you're standing, I'm just going to soften my knees a little. Hands on my thighs. Breath in, really expand all around the ribs. Breath out, pull the belly back and pull the waistband back. Now I've got quite a baggy top on today. You can't see much. Oh yeah, just a little movement there. But I'm still carrying my crown. Last one. And then hands on the hips and give them a little wiggle, but without the rest of your body up from the waist having a little wiggle. So there's going to be a little bit in your legs. There's going to be a little bit peeling your bum, the sides of your thighs off the chair. That's it. But we're trying to keep this all steady and then let it go. Right, we're going to push the hand forwards and then let it come down. So it's almost like a sort of wheel or a circle. And we can start to take that elbow back. So we're giving the wrist a little bit of extension, stretching it out. And there's a little bit of turn at the waist. And we're pulling those elbows back. So if I show you from the back, it's like I'm trying to nudge you through the screen. Now, if you've got the chair, just watch out for your elbows crashing into the chair. You might need to come forwards. And then we're going to take this out to the sides. This time it's more of a scoop, and you get this flexion, this bend of the wrist. So scoop one side, scoop the other, scoop, 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 scoop. Brilliant. Right, now we're going to reach one arm forwards. My fingers are just wiggling at you. Now reach a little further. You'll feel a little bit of a pull and a turn at the waist. It's a small one. Pull it back. So you're pulling it back from your shoulder blade. Reach it forwards. Pull it back. We've got to breathe somewhere. We can breathe in. Oh, let's extend forwards. Now breathe in. Oh, I can feel my back ribs expand then. And then pull back. One more. Same with the other arm. Give that one a little shake. Could even give it a little dangle if it likes that. Or a little swing. And then we're going to go for this side. So you can see my thumbs at the top and reaching forwards. I'm yearning to touch your hands, shake hello. And then we're going to pull back, and I'm pulling back from my shoulder blade, hugging in towards my spine. Pull forwards, take a breath in. Breathe out. Pull back. Forwards and back. Last one. Let the arm have a little dangle, little shake, swing, whatever it likes. Right, now give the back of your head a tap. And just take this part of your nose, the bridge of your nose, back. Oh, lovely length at the back of your neck. Right, keep that length. That crown is still on your head, by the way. And now turn your head from one side to the other. You're going for a glide. So if you've got a small range of movement, it might look like this. If you've got a bigger range of movement, you might be turning to look at a wall or a window. You might even go further. Come back to the center. Tip of your nose. Well, let's think about the bridge again first. Take the bridge back. Yeah, that lovely long neck. Right, tip of your nose. Up and down. Really small, so just like a tiny nod. You can even put your fingers just behind your ears. It's not quite in that dip, it's just on the bones behind. And then you can feel your head just doing that little nod without anything squashing or sort of getting shorter too much at the back. It just keeps a bit of length rather than that sort of, no one wants that feeling. And then keep your fingers down, give it a little circle, like you're drawing a circle with your nose, and the other way. Lovely. I'll let our arms have a little swing forwards and backwards. And then let's take it out to the side into a T. Turn your thumbs up, take them down, out to the side like a letter T. Thumbs up and down. One more. Lovely. And then just give them a little roll. I'm going for alternates just because I like that bit of waist rotation. You can take it forwards as well. And then let's go into the feet. So I'm just going to change the camera a tiny bit so you can see my feet. Right, toes up and down. Give them a little wriggle. Like they're really trying to feel everything in the ground in front of you. Or they're trying to feel everything in your socks, everything in your shoes, everything in your bare feet, whatever you've got on, they're just having that little wriggle. Now, spread the toes out. Take up some space. In fact, let's go for a slightly wider stance. So now we're taking up more room on the floor. Take your arms out, same if you're seated. And then we're going to lean forwards and back. Now, if you're seated, you won't be completely straight. You will be in this sort of position. And just feel your core having to have some tension, some tightness, drawing inwards, just holding you as you do this. We're going to take it into circles. Now, the arms out here, if you're seated, can get a bit heavy. You might want your arms to your chest. If you're standing, you probably want your arms out for balance. That's it. But you can, trying to keep straight, but go in all those directions. You can bring your hands to your chest. That is making me go slower. Right, I think we've changed directions. I think we've covered all the directions. Now we're going to go into a side bend. So let's have a little slide to one side and up tall. Slide to the other. Pay attention to your feet. Equal pressure in both feet. You'll feel like the one that you're bending away from is trying to come off the floor. Just keep it as pressed down as the other one. That's it. And now if you're comfortable to raise your arm, could you raise it straight up? And then the other side, so you can take it like this or like that. I don't mind. Whatever works for you. This time we're going to take the arm up, or it could be to the chest, and we're going to send the hips out to the side. Now the hips out to the side only works in standing, doesn't work in seated. So if you're seated, go for the arm instead. So you can just take your arm up as far as you can and do your side bend. If you're standing, just send your hips out as well, like you're making a banana sort of shape with your body. And then bring it back. And we're going to go for one on this side. So you might have your arm here, here, here. Send the hips out, make that banana shape, keep the feet down, bring it back, lovely. And then have a little swish around yourself. Let your waist turn. Imagine like bubbly water, a hot tub, a spa, a jacuzzi. And then bring yourself forwards. We're going to take the legs a little wider. Send your hips backwards and forwards. So your legs don't need to bend for this in standing. If you're doing it in seated, have your hands on your knees. You're just pushing forwards and backwards, keeping your back lovely and straight. Your head doesn't drop, your shoulders don't drop. That's it. Right, now I want you to start to push downwards into your feet if you are seated. So really pressing down into your feet. You don't have to move the body so far, but I want you to really engage your legs and feel the tension. If you're standing, we're going to send the bum further back. So the bend is actually not coming from the knees, it's from the hips going backwards. If you're comfortable going lower and your knees don't mind, you can bend. But otherwise, send your bum back and your arms forwards in some way. Could be on your chest, could be reaching ahead. If you're seated, you probably want them on your chest. Or you could do a little Cossack. That's it. Now, next time you come up, we're going to take a leg out to the side. And that can be a tap out to the side or a lift. So it might be like that, or it might be like that. And then we're going to squat again and send the leg out to the side. If you're doing this seated, one more each side. And then give yourself a wiggle in your t-shirt. Trying to touch every part. Just notice how the fabric feels today. A little wiggle in whatever you've got on the bottom half. That's harder because they tend to be closer fitting. And then we're going to make our way down to the floor. Hi, Maggie. You're just in time for the lying down bit. Possibly the best bit, the lying down bit. So yourself to lying on the floor or lying on your bed. If you're in bed, just pull the duvet back. It gives you a little bit of more resistance than the duvet will give you. You might want a few cushions or even a towel or something. I tend to have everything here, but most people tend to have cushions. But I'm just going to fold this towel and we'll come to that later. But we can use cushions as well. Right. Let's take all this down. And lying on our backs, take your time, because you can always go back to this later. You might want to do it again, or a certain bit you might want to repeat. And we're going to have our legs bent, arms somewhere comfortable at the sides, just so your legs have a little rock, a sway from side to side. And just feel what happens on the back of your pelvis. Keep your head and shoulders still, just let your knees sway. We're back to that breeze and thinking about grass or willow tree, reeds. And then bring it back and rest your hands on your belly, hip area. You could even make a little triangle shape if you wanted to. I'm just going to rest my hands on my hips. Could you take a breath in your rib cage, all around? Feel it expand, and as you breathe out, we're going to drop the lower back and the waistband down. As you breathe in, let it rise up. You might feel your pubic bone going down between your legs. As you breathe out, lower down. As you breathe in, it comes up. So you can think of squashing something like a marshmallow under your lower back. So it's all there, all puffed up. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, just lower yourself down onto it and just feel it like a schmore, you know, between digestives. I think in a cube sort of, yeah, melting. I think I know what I mean. And one more. And then take your knees into your chest, some way that's comfortable for you. So it might be you want to go wide, it might be to move your belly out of the way, you might be you want to go narrow, it doesn't matter, just something that feels nice. And hug them inwards, so you can hug on the back of your thighs, you might hug on your shins, it's just whatever's best for you. I quite like the back of my thighs because I feel I can sort of tilt my lower back up a bit more. Just have a little rock there. That's it. And then place your hands on your knees and you're going to circle each leg. So you're drawing 2 circles and they're going in opposite directions. I try not to think about that too much. It's easy just to do it and just draw those circles, because if you think about the directions, it gets really confusing. And then the other way. So just reverse each circle. That's it. So we're just stirring up into the hips a little bit here. Ready for the next movement. Take your feet down. So we're back in that starting position. And you might want, if you're really close to your bum, just take them down a little further, just so you can feel the back of your pelvis really resting. And then bring your knees and feet together and take your heels out and your toes forwards, your knees, let them just part. And now let's start with arms by our sides, and we'll just let the hands roll back so your palms are up and your arms are a little away from your body. One leg is going to be still, that's this leg. The other leg is going to open outwards. It's just going to, as if the outer leg is heavy. I'm going slow because I'm keeping this bit controlled, and then bring it in. And I'm trying not to wibble this other leg. Now, what I also like is arms out gives you some support. I like my hands resting my hip bones, actually a fingertip, because I can feel exactly what's happening. If it feels super wobbly, you can take your arms out more. That will give you more support. Or you could touch this leg, and just the pressure might be on the inside if your leg's trying to do that. It might be on the outside if it's trying to go away from you. Just the hand resting on it can let your leg know where it is. Last one. And then let both legs have a little sway. Let the arms rest. That's it. And then we're going for the other leg. So the leg you can see now is still. I'm just going to really ground my foot down a little and make it really super still. And the other leg's going outwards. So I can feel the side of my knee, go onto the side of my foot. You can just see the sole of my foot coming up. I'm just going to touch my hips to feel what's going on. But you could also, if you get the feeling across the belly and you know that's working, you could lift your arms up. You can even open an opposite arm to leg. And it's almost a counterbalance. So you might find you can open a little further outwards. I find it's fine on the outwards movement. It's hard on the inner movement as I bring them back. Oh, one more. And then bring them back, maybe hug them in again. And then keep one knee in towards your chest. So I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to keep it in, but I'm going to hold the back and resist a little so it's not super floppy like that. It's going to have a little bit of tension in it. And I'm hugging it in a comfortable amount. If you've had a hip replacement, this is probably enough. This sort of 90-degree-ish place. If you haven't, you might be able to go further. And then creep the other foot away. So I've got a bit of tension here. I'm not super floppy. That would be floppy. This is a bit of tension. And I'm just giving a bit of resistance. I'm pulling my leg away and in at the same time. And then just stretch that leg long and give the foot a little wiggle around. And then let that leg flop and bring a bit of tension. Flop and tension and flop. Bring the other leg back. Bring it in, both floppy, and then I'm going to put this leg down, bring a bit of tension to this leg. So it's not really tabletop-y like that, but there is a bit of tension to it. Creep this leg away. Feel I can bring this one in more. And you might even find that you can float the leg away. So if that's comfortable, do that. So you can point my foot, can bring my toes in. If it's not comfortable, take it down and wiggle your feet there. Breathe anytime you want to. Feel your back and shoulder blades against the floor. And then let this foot flop. And then bring it up. Flop and up. Flop and up. Slide the other leg back. Bring them both in. And then take them down one at a time. We're going to roll onto our fronts. So take your time. Roll yourself over. Now this is where you could use either a towel, and we'll sort of go under the hips, maybe a cushion. You don't have to, but if you find it difficult to roll flat, it can make it more comfortable. So that's about where, you can see where my hip area is, or the hip creases. That's about where you put it. Towel, cushion in a similar place. Right, don't need those. We're going down so that our hands are the cushion for our head and our forehead is on our hands. Legs reach away from you and they are long and straight and a comfortable distance apart, but they're not floppy like that. They're long and straight. So imagine super long legs. Someone's even put their hands and just gently giving your ankles a little stroke and lengthen them even further. Give your shoulders a roll here. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to lift your head and then your chest and keep your eyes downwards. So mine are just on my fingers. And then take it down. You can ease off, let everything go soft, give your bum a wiggle, and then lengthen your legs again. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, give your shoulders a roll. Bit of tension going on down the legs, so I can feel they are pressing down a little. They're lengthened, and I'm going to bring my head and my chest up. And then take it down. Right, now I'm going to take my forehead just down to the mat. You might want a bit of a cushion under the forehead, but your elbows close to your body. even pointing upwards in the air a little. We're not really going to press into our hands. You could even have your hands floating off, but it feels like they are close to you and your shoulder blades are hugging inwards. Breath in, and your forehead comes up just like it did before. It's not going to go very high. You're looking downwards. Take it down. Give anything a wiggle, needs a wiggle in between. Lengthen away. Breath in. Breathing out. Coming up again. You can hold it there if you want to. You could float the hands off the floor. You could even take your hands up and down, or give those elbows a little point, nudge at the back, and then take it down. Bring your arms forward, somewhere comfortable, and let your bum have a wiggle from side to side. We've still got time for a little bit more, so I'm going to take us into a dart, a long, stretchy sort of tension. So forehead down, could be on a cushion, arms down by your side, but this time legs together. Now your arms could be outwards a little, or they could press against your legs. It's easier outwards. So I'm going to keep mine out a bit, but I'm going to press my legs together, and I'm bringing tension right down my back body now. So I'm reaching my arms down, I'm reaching my legs together and long. Breath in. As you breathe out, bring your head and chest up, look down. See if you can get your arms off the floor. Your legs can stay down, and then take it down. Let everything flop and relax. Breath in. Breath out, bringing all that tension back. My palms are facing my thighs. They could touch them. I'm going to bring my head and chest up. You could bring your feet and some of your legs up. You could also take the arms out and put your thumbs up towards the ceiling, any way you like, close or further away. And then take it down, and it's as if you are melting. Take your legs wider, your hands wider. You can have your head to the side, and just let everything wiggle and melt. You might want to turn your head. You might want to roll your shoulders. You might want to stretch out. And then relax. And then I'm going to push back into a sort of child position and an all fours. Now, if that doesn't work for you, for your knees, go onto your back first and bring your knees to your chest. So I'm going to bring my hands under my shoulders, elbows close to the body. I'm going to push forwards through my hands and take my bum back. Just have a little push there for a second. And then come into all fours. And I just want you to draw circles with your bottom. And if you are lying on your back, you can hug your knees into your chest, and you could be drawing circles with your knees together this time. And you do this as much or as little as you like. This is the time when, if you're doing this near a window on a ground floor, do you want someone to come past and look in? Last one. And then bring yourself to sitting. You could be sitting on your bed, on the floor, on your chair. Comfortable legs. We're going to have a little stretch to each side. So gentle, keep your bum down. Just let your arms, almost like you're waving. Give you a stretch. And like you're rolling over a ball at the side, like my big blue ball at the back. That's it. And then we'll bring our hands so they're facing outwards. Scoop up the air. Bring your hands to a center line in front of you. Have a little look at them. See if you can take them a little higher. And then bring them into your chest. Oh, give yourselves a clap. Another half hour of exercise complete. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be here again next week. I'll see you again soon. Have a lovely week, everybody.